Yo, what's up my boys? Welcome back to another video. Welcome back. I appreciate you guys all stopping back by. Today I'm going to be doing a simple video, guys. I'm just going to show you how to adjust the settings for progressive AR in the Cipher script, how you can set this up for any gun that you want. You don't have to select the gun itself. You can just do ground loot and then adjust the recoil settings, so you don't have to worry about selecting the gun if it's not on the Cipher script yet. But these are how you set up these settings. I'm going to show you what these values mean, what you're actually changing, and hopefully this applies to you. I'm going to make this as simple as possible, guys, so hopefully it'll help you understand what you're changing and how these recoil values work when you're going into progressive AR settings in the Cipher script. All right, so let's get into the video. All right, guys, so I apologize if the mic quality is not good. I've got it hooked up to a lapel mic just to make this a little bit easier. All right, guys, so I'm gonna kind of show you these values. Now, these values are not any specific to any guns, guys. I'm gonna try to dumb this down as simple as I can to explain how these work, and maybe this can give you a better idea of how to set up your guns in Warzone. The weapon AI with the scripts are not that important. Of course, if they have the gun added, definitely use it. I'll try to explain it to you as best as I can. That way you can kind of understand what you're changing when you're setting this up for progressive. Of course, you can do the Rumble AR, but it's very basic. So if you want to go more in depth with these Cipher scripts, this is how you do it. So the progressive, once we get to your progressive settings, guys, the vertical start is basically from the time that you start shooting, you know, does it pull up? Every recoil pattern, pretty much with any gun, always pulls up and to the right. So what we want to do with a vertical start is just leave it around 25, somewhere around there, maybe 20 to 40. Now, it's always going to be, you know, where it starts and then where it ends, right? So what we want to do is always have the end value where you want this recoil strength to end, and then you have your time in between that, right? So for instance, just to kind of give you an idea, the vertical start, so if it pulls up straight up off the bat without you holding it down for a length of time, you're going to want to make this a lot higher. And then for the vertical end, obviously this is always going to be higher than the start. This is from when you stop shooting, where that recoil pattern ends up. So it always shoots straight up and to the right. And I'll get into the horizontal in just a second. So if you're getting recoil right off the bat, this vertical start is going to be higher than, you know, normal guns that don't get much recoil off the bat, if that makes sense. Basically, the vertical start is just the strength that you need from when you start shooting, and then the vertical end is from when you stop shooting. So obviously your end is always going to be higher. That's just the recoil pattern in Modern Warfare. That's the way it is. And then of course you can always adjust this once you get the feel for how these settings are set up and what they mean. And then of course when you go over one more, you get into your vertical time, which basically is just the time from when that vertical start kicks in to where the end kicks in, right? For the length of time. And this all depends on the, you know, how long you're shooting for, how big of a magazine you have. So keep that in mind. Usually around anywhere from 2,000 to 4,000 is your best values. And then this kind of explains the same thing works with horizontal, guys. You don't get much horizontal recoil in Warzone. That's just the way it is. It always kind of shoots to the right a little bit. So I always start at about 0 or -1. It always shoots up and to the right. So then I'll go about -3, because your end is always going to be more than your start value. That's just how it's set up. And I hope this all makes sense, guys. And the same thing for the time. It's the time in between. I think it's in, I don't know if it's milliseconds or what it is, how they actual implement these values, but it's the time between when your start kicks in and when your end kicks in. All right, you start shooting, and right off the rip, before like even a half a second, it just shoots straight up. That means you're gonna have to crank up your vertical start time. You know, if it continues to go up as you're shooting, make your vertical end even higher until you kind of get it to where from start to end, you know, it actually has that tight pattern. And then the time frame, of course, how long you're shooting for, all depends on the magazines and things like that. So you'll kind of have to adjust these three values. And the same thing goes with the horizontal. Horizontal is not as much of a big deal. You want to get that vertical down pat first, and then you can kind of go from there. Horizontal is pretty easy. So I hope this helps, guys. I know it is confusing, but these are kind of how you set up that progressive anti-recoil. It's not very hard once you kind of grasp what I'm saying. You might have to watch this video over, understand how I'm explaining it. It's about as simple as I can explain it. But basically, you know, your vertical start is how much recoil you get off the bat, and then the vertical end is how much recoil you get when you stop shooting. You know, the difference between the two. Obviously, the end is always going to be higher, and then of course the time is going to be how long in between from when the anti-recoil kicks in from the start to where it ends. How long does that anti-recoil mod need to be in effect from the start to the end? So if for some reason you know, you're getting good recoil and you get like a gap in between, you need to adjust the vertical time. And then the horizontal works the same way, but you don't have to adjust it as much, obviously, only because it only shoots slightly to the right. That's just the way it is. All right, guys, that pretty much does it as far as explaining this as simple as I can. I'm gonna switch back over to Zen Studio and we'll end this there. All right, guys, as you can see, that is the best way I can explain how to go about changing these recoil values to find the best that works for you. Obviously, everybody uses a different controller sometimes, different console, different attachments, different sensitivity, game settings, and things like that. So there's not always going to be that perfect value. So I think this video is going to be more valuable to you versus like me showing all the time my settings and what I use, just because, like I said, everybody's going to be a little bit different in how they set this up. I hope this video helped you guys. I hope it kind of dumbed it down a little bit to what you're actually changing. You're not just going in there and plugging in numbers and things like that. Drop a comment below if you think this video helped you. Let me know what you want to see next. I'm working on the PPSH video right now as we speak, but since the PPSH is not added to the actual Cipher script yet, I've been playing around with it just to make sure I get these perfect values as best as I can give them to you. So stay patient with me, guys. We'll get these values right. Some people might just throw up a video right away and it's not always the best settings. I've tried some, you know, baselines and things like that. In the Taylor Drift Discord, sometimes I'll throw in some settings and stuff like that and they don't always work for me. They'll just shoot straight to the right or left, you know, things like that. So anyway, guys, stay patient. We're going to be throwing up some banger videos in the future. But I appreciate all the love and support, guys. You boys are amazing. We're almost at 1,500 subs, which is just mind-blowing to me already. Keep hitting that like button, guys. Keep hitting that sub button. Join the Discord. It is live. I'll put the link in the description below for the Discord, guys. Go ahead and make sure you join that, so that way y'all can play with each other if you want to squad up. And also you can share your values and your settings and your different scripts and game packs and stuff and what works best for you. I want to build this community. And we can talk about other stuff besides the Cronus, right? Sports, stocks, whatever you guys want to talk about, memes. It's all there, guys. Join the Discord. Anyway, that's all for now. I'm going to sign off in this video right now. We'll see you on the next one. Peace out.